shoulders shrugged. That's how it is when you're fresh out of fucks. Live when I walk with my shoulders shrugged. That's how it is when you're fresh out of fucks.
6-0, zip 0, 6-0, zip 0.
Zip 0, not an unzilch. Fuck out my face before you get your cap peeled. Mike, metal, get your blood spilled. Y'all ain't on my level unless you walk around on stilts. Strong arm steady, you can tell by how it's built. Ego overgrown, must be all the damn
What's up,
milk.
y'all?
Come on,
It's Nytelife.
chill.
I'm your host of 4BarLoop, and my guest tonight had an honor to rock with a gentleman that personifies versatility. A rhymer, producer, engineer, coup de grace, all of that. A turntablist, a.k.a. the Bay's most exciting DJ. DJ True Justice, how you doing this evening, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, brother.
That's cool, man. So, how's the tour going, man?
Man, the tour, man. I'm on a much needed day off right now, so it's a day of reflection and how to put our best foot forward on these last 4 days.
Oh, that's cool, man. So you're one of the originators that developed this tour with Vocab and with Z-Man, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We got together and a couple of different times, but one time in particular, we sat in my garage and hatched up the whole thing. I mean, from character to origin to name, where we wanted to go, everything. All three of us in my garage.
Yeah, so just to bring the viewers in, it is the 7th annual Slap Frost Tour right now. And what city are you in right now, man?
We are actually in Mount Pleasant, Iowa.
Wow, okay.
Yes, we're in Mount Pleasant, Iowa right now, just like kind of in between. We're not playing here per se, but it's just like I said, a day off situation. So we're just chilling.
Yeah, well, congratulations on the tour, man. I see you guys are trying to touch the Midwest up, and it seems exciting. I got to talk to a couple of people. I talked to Vocab. I talked to Moon Magic, and everybody was excited about the tour and had nothing but great things to say. So, man, I hope you are having a good, safe time over there, and everything is going well.
Yes, everything is going well, and we are getting out of it what we're putting in.
Yeah, that's all you could ask for. So as far as for DJing, how did you get your start?
I got my start DJing, man, because I started in '93, but it was a labor of love because I always wanted to DJ. I just knew back when hip hop hit me and we was all buying tapes and dancing, and I didn't know any DJs. I grew up in the suburbs of the Bay Area, in a town called Newark, California.
Okay.
So I got hit with it, but I just knew I wanted to DJ. But at the time, the only people that had equipment were the cats that had a little bit of bread. And at the time, it was all my Filipino homies. You know what I'm saying? They had the bread, they had the the gear and stuff. And my grandmother raised me, so I never was like, I knew how much stuff cost, and I knew what my grandmother did for me. She did her all, and I just wasn't going to ask her to buy me, basically about $2,000 worth of equipment.
Right.
That just wasn't happening when I was 14, 15 years old.
Facts.
I didn't even fix my face. You know what I'm saying? But in lieu of that, I bought tapes, I danced, and one thing led to another. Like me and my homeboy, Scott Worthington, my best friend, to this day, from kindergarten to this day, we would just buy the tapes when we'd be the guys trading tapes and playing the new stuff at the school or the kickbacks or whatever. And then eventually through that and just having a lot of connections, because back then, like, late 80s, early 90s, like I said, I grew up in the suburbs. So everybody in the suburbs, they're claiming the fame. Oh yeah, I'm from Oakland, or my big brother's from Oakland, that's the big city, but we out in the burbs. So you always want to kind of cling to your hood past.
Fact.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was about back then. And so, that was kind of like my environment. So one thing led to another, and we actually got recognized for our dancing skills. Me and my homeboy Larry, we got recognized for our dancing skills. And one of the big homies, one of the big homies that comes to the high school, so he graduated 2-3 years, prior, but he still come to the high school to talk to girls, and he got the car and shit. That him.
Yeah.
That was the big homie. So he came and scooped us up, took us to Oakland. He was like, my cousin got a group. You guys need to dance for him. So he took us to Oakland on the Apgar Street, and everybody was out there drinking 40s, and they was like, let's see what you got. So we busted a routine, and they was like, okay, you in the group. And we celebrated with 40s, and I was a member of Action Pack Gangsters, APG.
Oh man, Action Pack Gangsters.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm a town boy, so man, you hit me right here with that. That's crazy.
for sure. And then so that was my introduction into not only loving hip hop but actually participating, in hip hop. So that was the time when all the groups had a DJ, hype man, and dancers. And within APG, it was 4 different groups that made up APG. And so there, so I got, me and my homeboy used to dance for Melomar and DJ J Cut. And then so there was 3 other groups where we were all like kind of like a Wu-Tang, a Bay Area Wu-Tang before Wu-Tang. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm talking 88, 89. I'm 16 years old, a sophomore in high school. So that happened. So I, doing shows. I'm 16. My mom's going into like, all these shows, the Kennel Club, the I-Beam, the Night Break, all of those clubs we used to do. And just from there, man, and that was, I was the cool kid because I was still in the suburbs, but I was in this popular group in Oakland that was on the radio. You know what I'm saying? Like 9 o'clock beat on KSOL. That was that was our claim to fame. But so I'm walking around high school like the big man, and they be like, then the hate comes. They like, man, you ain't in that group. This is before before social media and MT, all of that stuff. So they was like, man, you fronting. You know what I'm saying? You capping. You not in that group. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got people in Oakland or doing this and that in Oakland. I was like, oh, for real? And so in order to really keep my celebrity status going, I convinced the principal of my high school to let my group come to perform during lunchtime. And the group came, we did our thing. I don't know how that was my first booking. Right now to this day, I'm an independent booking agent, but that was my first booking when I was in high school. Right. You know what I'm saying? So the group came and rocked the show. Everybody liked to dance. We did our thing. We doing our dancing, solo, and MCs, whatever. But when it came time for the DJ to do his solo, man, I was just like, how he got busy, like masterfully held the crowd in the palm of his hands, literally. You know what I'm saying? And got busy with 2 copies of DOC's "It's Funky Enough." I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
And that reaction, that feeling, right then and there, I was like, that's what I want to do. Like just dancing stuff is cool, but somehow, some way, I always felt like I wanted to DJ, but this was real. Yeah. And so from that day on in 1989, man, I've been. It took me till '93 to get gear and stuff, but that was the turning point for me.
Yeah, and with that time, you look at the DJs that were out there, like DJ Daryl from 415, and the culture of DJing was like it was just like you said, was MC and the DJ. It was like hand in hand. You had to have a DJ if you was gonna be a crew, and or
be taken seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. To be taken seriously, to be able to get your foot in the door anywhere, you have to have your own DJ. Who were some of your influences that kind of brought you along with development as a DJ?
Well, the DJ in particular I'm talking about that came to my school and turned it out was DJ J Cut. So number one, my first like in real life influence. Of course I was influenced like when I got into I wanted to be Jam Master Jay, and I looked up to Cash Money and Jazzy Jeff because they were just awesome. So but J Cut was my first in real life uh you know influence, because when I was dancing, like we would spend the weekends in Oakland on Apgar Street, and he'd be like, you can play my records, don't break my needles, don't break my shit, you know what I'm saying? And so it just went from there. And a couple of years later I graduated, and I don't care, I graduated in 91, you know what I'm saying? So by 91, 92, 91, I ended up in Berkeley. I went from my grandmother's house to my mom's house in Berkeley.
You went to one hip hop rich situation to another, man. Berkeley is woo. Man.
Oh yeah, and that's where DJ True Justice was born, right there in Berkeley in 1993.
Yeah, I love the hip hop culture in Berkeley, man. It's so dope, man. It's so dope. Going from the record stores to Berkeley University. Just it's such a rich hip hop town that kind of gets slept on. We talk about the Bay Area in the sense of San Francisco and Oakland and Vallejo. Berkeley doesn't really get the just due that it deserves, but Berkeley was
absolutely
was key.
but at the same time, those areas, San Francisco, Oakland, Richmond, they all know at one point Berkeley was the Mecca, because that's where everybody converged. Where you from, East Oakland, Alameda, that's where everybody converged on Telegraph Avenue, on the campus. We called it the Ave. You had to touch, if you were serious and about your hip hop, you're independent, and I'm talking about selling tapes. If you were selling tapes or pushing your music, eventually CDs, you had to hit Telegraph. You know what I'm saying? And you had to hit the hate, period. You know what I'm saying? Or you would, or like Z-Man said, or you wasn't doing shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So as far as DJing, some of my favorite parts in hip hop records are having my favorite MC's bars scratch in the hooks and used for bridges. What goes into the science of selecting the right phrase or the right bars to be scratched in the hooks and stuff like that?
I like to really apply it to it's the same thing as writing the perfect hook. You know what I'm saying? It's like writing the perfect rhyme. You're searching for a phrase or a sound or a sentiment that complements that track, and that's something I really pride myself on, and I really get excited to when I hear, first when you hear the beat. And you're thinking, like, if you're a rapper, you're thinking what you could spit over this. Me, I'm thinking what I could cut over this. The drums are crispy. Is it gonna be a sound effect, or what I'm saying? But the thing is, I like to have a song, sent to me with lyrics like a 16, maybe no intro, no hook, but the rap is gonna tell me which way the song is gonna go. And like you mentioned, your favorite MCs in those bars, it's like clever verses could be broke down into even clever clips, like Premier. He'll take a phrase here from this record, another record, and it's like almost like he's actually writing the hook. You know what I'm saying? If you put it together, you know what I'm saying? It's all about the syncopation, the pocket. I love doing scratch hooks.
Yeah, and the scratch hook can be key in the storytelling of what is going on with the MC at that time and the story they're trying to tell. And it's vital. If you don't have the right, you don't have the right clips for that, then it can kind of lead your song down a different path.
Yeah, and also another forgotten art is the actual the drop, not only in the verse, in the hook, but in the verse, because a lot of people, like it might be an MC that drops 4 bars, and then a DJ comes in for 2, and then you come back to the rap, like the routine style, you know what I'm saying? And that's a lost art, is forgotten, and it just reminds me of a track that me and my new group Justin's Case did. It's called what's that joint called? What we do, I think very deeply. That's Heart on My Sleeve. And that's the perfect example of what I'm talking about. You know, cooperation between the MC and the DJ, because it's a group thing. It's a group effort.
Yeah. So, you know, as we talked about too, you said that, you know, that the thrill of being able to go live and work a crowd live, which one is the better feel for you? Is working the crowd live and controlling the crowd something that you look forward to more than doing just standard records?
You mean like live on stage as opposed to in the studio?
Yeah.
I would say I'm the live on stage guy. I love the studio. I run a recording studio in Oakland, California, and I went to my trade. I'm a certified audio engineer, so that, you know, that's me. But if given the choice, I'll be on stage, because it's nothing like being on stage, rocking live. You know, honing your craft, number one, but number two, you know, the feeling, you know, the vibes that you get from the crowd, the interaction, you know, the oohs and ahs, you know, that type of thing. And that's what you're in your bedroom practicing for. You know what I'm saying? You'd be lying if you say you didn't want them oohs and ahs, you know.
Definitely.
Other than that, what you up there for?
Yeah. So one question that I like, and you're one of the first DJs that I've interviewed, and I really like to ask this question. You know, what do you think of the celebrity moving into the DJ space? And, you know, has it placed the proper light on the DJ culture, or is it some exploitation going on?
I feel like it's a money grab, and I feel like it's a money grab, and there's no real respect being paid to the art of DJing. You know, it's like, hey, look at me, I'm so and so, I can DJ too. You know, they might have just picked it up 6 months ago, a year ago. You know what I'm saying? What about the homies that's been, you know, paying dues to get that celebrity status? You know what I'm saying? In a specific craft. Man, I don't feel that at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, man, because I just seen, you know, you see like Shaq and Paris Hilton and all of these cats up here. It's like, I know originally it's like, it's not what you do. This is not what you do. It's not what you do.
You look at them like I love Snoop and all of that, but they just look weird.
Yeah,
DJing. It don't come natural to them. You know, you can see it like in their performance.
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time understanding if the craft is respected enough to the point where they're saying, well, hey, I could potentially be taking a job away or a gig away from one of these other cats that actually know what time it is here. And I just think that's not thought about enough. You know, it's like their celebrity can just get them in the door to do whatever they want. I mean, they can go on stage and hit cartwheels for 2 hours and people will still come out and watch. But for them to kind of mask it and disguise it as, oh, I'm DJing, I'm providing a service here along with my celebrity. I mean, shit, you was paying cats to walk through the club and host, and so now you're gonna take a job away from somebody else. I mean, you're gonna be the bartender next. I mean, what's up?
Yeah, man, it's just like, and no disrespect to the cats that really like have skills, you know, at DJ and just happen to be, you know, like I seen Q-Tip get busy.
Oh yeah,
busy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying, on them turntables. You know what I'm saying? I respect that. And that's different to me, but as long as you are upholding like some kind of respect of the fundamentals of, you know, all of that, not just because you're you know, a celebrity type.
Yeah. So how has being a DJ expanded you as a hip hop artist?
I would say I wouldn't say expand. I say they go hand in hand, because, you know, there's no hip hop without the DJ, you know what I'm saying, and vice versa. But at the same time, being a hip hop artist, like, it always goes, but like, regardless of where you are in stature or how many records you sold, at the end of the day, this is a culture that you claim, whether you're in it for the money or the fame, you know what I'm saying, regardless. You know what I'm saying? It all comes back to a microphone, and 2 turntables. So it's synonymous with me. There's no
Right.
separation at all. Hip hop and being a DJ go hand in hand. And I'm actually a DJ who makes records as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's synonymous with me.
So let's get into that a little bit. Is it difficult to shift and bounce between being a rhymer, engineer, producer, DJ, a promoter? You know, is it hard to is it tough to wear all of those hats and transition between them?
No, because I would say I stay in a certain lane where it's easy, where all of the things kind of coincide. But I don't rap. I don't rhyme at all.
Mhm.
I've never, I write. I've had my hand in hooks in there, but I don't rap. I've never had the desire to
Okay.
to rhyme. You know what I'm saying? But like as far as DJing in itself, you know, you wear a lot of hats anyway. Just in your just even if you're just doing weddings or just doing small bars, because you're number one, you have to promote yourself, so you're a promoter. Uh Number two, you have to negotiate your fees with strangers. So you're booking yourself. So you're an
Right.
agent, and then you're going out and giving people a service, and you're performing. So you're performing, you're actually performing. So all of those come under the umbrella of a DJ. So me being an independent booking agent, and listening to talent, what I'm saying, and discerning who's dope and who's not, that's an A&R. That's these are things that come natural to a DJ, because that's we've always done that. You're in the record store for hours listening to what you think is going to make people dance or is going to have a certain feeling. So you're producing a feeling. So therefore you're a producer there as well. So all of those things come natural to a DJ. So it doesn't take me out of my my zone. It doesn't take me off my square, because it's all
Mhm.
in one. You know.
Yeah. So I mean, you have you had a lot of experience. You've been doing this. You've been doing this a while. Is there a few things that you learned along the way that are kind of maybe pitfalls or mistakes that you made early in your career that you have applied now and gotten better in?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just being um mindful of relationships, being mindful of impact and first impressions, second impressions, um and just being like stand up, because being a stand up guy or a stand up girl, stand up woman is very scarce in this business. At the end of the day, you're only as good as your representation of what people, when you're gone, what are people saying about you? How do you conduct yourself? And I think over the years, over the performances, the shows, the tours, I think it is very important to have a strong character, a strong outlook on things. And that's something I've learned over the years, looking back, like, man, I really could have handled myself better in this situation.
Have you taken things you learned and mentored like other DJs or mentored other artists? Because I know you're in the development side of things.
Definitely be that's something we always sought out to do, because I just look back when I first started DJing, I didn't have any DJs around me for the first 4 or 5 years of my career. It was just all rappers. Everybody rap, but nobody DJ. So everything that I learned for the first 4 or 5 years was trial and error. So until what I'm saying, and then around 97, 96, I met DJ Lex. So I was able to vibe with another DJ, and then we in turn in 97 started All Purpose DJs, which was a popular crew in the early 90s in the Bay Area, representing Berkeley once again. But yeah, I look back on that time and I always wish that there was somebody to show me and say, hey, this is, you need to do it like this, as a mentorship. So I've always been in that mode. Not necessarily like fellow DJs. Like I've never had like a real DJ, up under my wing. I've had artists, that, once I started touring and started learning the ropes of, performing and handling certain duties, I've always had artists that I've mentored. And since day one, every time that we go out on a tour, we make sure that we're taking somebody that's never been on tour before.
Yeah.
And that's been since Slap Frost started. We're here now. We're in the 7th annual Slap Frost tour, which is which the gap during COVID. So that's 9 years really we've been doing this.
Right.
And so that's always been the goal, to mentor and make sure give fundamental skills to the youth that are coming up, because they gonna do it regardless. They gonna but let's give them some guidance while they're doing it.
Yeah, and that says a lot about your movement as far as what you're trying to do, because sometimes that people will foresee that as risky, to be able to take new artists on to tour with them, to showcase them. It's I know it's not an exact science of being able to pick who does what, but at the same time, elevating somebody and giving them the confidence to go, okay, somebody's willing to give me a shot for my first time to do something is always important. So kind of rolling off of that, let's try to get into your projects. So I got to listen to Man of Steel, which is a great project. Planet Asia, Equipto, Sinestro, Zumbi from Cyanide, rest in peace, the Grouch, and among others on that project. How were you able to assemble the talent to be able to make those records and put it together?
I think that one in particular, I got a chance to work with a lot of my friends, a lot of my peers in a different level, because I had that was the album that I put out on Gorilla Funk. Mm-hmm. And so that album came out. I was signed to Gorilla Funk in 5 years before that album came out. So I was doing a lot of touring, and I was able to have relationships with a lot of these people from a different, format. Right. And so going in, like, as opposed to my first album, I was really coming off of all the mixtape era. Like I had 25 popular mixtapes to my name before I did original music. And that was my self-titled, my debut album, which was totally independent, on Hidden City Records. But when it came to the Man of Steel, I was more focused and streamlined on the amount of material, who I wanted to work with. Because, on the mixtapes, like the stuff that me and Lex did, like Pound for Pound, we had like, 28 MCs, that type of thing. And I kind of, even in my first album, had a lot of acts and had a lot of artists that, may have come and gone. Mm-hmm. So when it came to the Man of Steel, I wanted to make sure it was quality over quantity, and the production got better, the songwriting got better, because it wasn't anything that I emailed. Of course there's stuff that you email, but a lot of times I was in the studio with these dudes. I was either pulling up with a mobile set, or I would book some time here, book some time there, because at the time I didn't really have my studio. I was in between studios at that time. So Paris was a big help, because everything that I recorded, I just gave it to him, and he just like polished it up, reworked a lot of stuff, reproduced stuff with me. But that, I would say, that was really a concentrated effort, on the samples that I chose, on the themes. One particular, When the Stage Calls, that was something I really, even the theme of the song, the beat, all of that was, I had all of that in mind going into it, and Paris turned, what I heard into a track, and T Cash and Elronius and my boy KEV really took my vision lyrically and put it in the song, because the sample is, When Love Calls. So, and it's kind of like the same, but it's like when love calls, but when the stage calls,
Right.
your life is happening at the same time. So which one do you choose? And that's really coming from years prior of touring, my first time touring, which was directly responsible with Gorilla Funk. I was a DJ for T Cash.
And I noticed, you speaking on Paris, and Paris is a Bay Area legend. Shout out to Paris.
Absolutely, that's the big homie right there.
Yeah, with Paris, and Paris does a lot of stuff that's politically driven, militant. It's community based and stuff like that. Was there like an adjustment for you to be able to kind of paint around that, or was it just like
it was actually the opposite, because Paris is known for everything that you mentioned. So it's like, Paris has his lane, but what really made us work together is because he could explore the different areas with me being a DJ and having an incredible amount of a talent pool that I have. Just I got some dope ass friends, and I'm just fortunate like that, and so being that he can explore different ideas that he couldn't on a Paris record, what I'm saying? That's why to this day I always salute him, because he stood behind me and told me everything that I wanted to do was going to be cool. And still to this day, I'm in my own situation with Francisco Street Productions. I have my own distribution, but we talk every day, what I'm saying, every other day when we can, when I'm not on the road and stuff. So still like a big, he's pushing me to do my stuff because I'm recognized for a certain lane. I'm recognized for a certain type of, progressive, but kind of like adult, hip hop. Because I'm of a certain age, and let the kids do what they do, but we still rocking live and we doing it. What I'm saying? Really good still.
Yeah. So let's kind of stick in that lane though, because mature hip hop is a lot of people is trying to put the nail in the coffin with mature hip hop. They're trying to push it out. They're trying to age us out and make us the dinosaurs and not popular. And it's starting to come back around where that element of the DJ was kind of pushed to the back burner with the development of the quick producers doing a bunch of shit, and the kids becoming the instrument on the songs more than being lyricists. But it seems that the callback now is for the lyricist and for the DJ. What are your thoughts on the I guess the avenue that music is moving in right now?
I a lot of it may not be for me per se, but I can't be the grumpy old man, what I'm saying? Because that's just being like, what I'm saying, the generation before us when hip hop came in. They were just like, oh man, this is just kids, it's not gonna last. Your music is crap, ours was real music. And so here we are, we're like, of course, I feel like the music of the 90s and the early 2000s was, way better than what they putting out now, but it's just a different feeling. It's a different generation. They're growing up with, these kids are, what I'm saying, they're growing up with cell phones and hip hop being everywhere. These things weren't always a constant, when we were coming up. So it's generational, so I can't, I gotta pass the baton, what I'm saying, but I'm still holding on to it. You know what I'm saying? As I'm passing it, what I'm saying? There's always that where it's in my hand, I'm giving it to you, and we both kind of like still got it. So
Right.
that's how I feel about it, but I can
You-
respect it, but I can also do my thing, because hip hop is worldwide. In every situation, in every corner of the earth, you have, since August of 1973, you have elements of hip hop everywhere. So it's
That
just
is
an
absolutely
expression.
true.
It is an expression. So people are always going to express themselves, and the youth are going to do it so big and so loud and so great, always, So, man, I'm cool in my lane. I rock with them. I hope they rock with me. I could be an old head. I could love to be an old head, But
And
let's all get along.
you know what the funny shit is though is that they say what they say, but they know that we dope. They know that older cats like us is dope because they sampling our shit.
Man, that's
They sampling our shit. It's like that tells the whole
Where I
story.
get it from, man. But it's all we could all coexist. But man, I just want be recognized for what I do and what I stand for. You know what I'm saying? And we can all stand together. How about
There
that?
you go. There you go. There you go. And then getting into your current project, man, the Coach EP. Great EP, man. I was reading your press kit, and it says that as far as you calling the plays, you getting the people in position. The new joint that you have, Zip Zero, featuring like who's who in the Bay. Vocab is on there, Casual's on there, Z-Man's on there. It's a clean joint, man, and the bars is classic on it. I just love the cuts that's on there, though. I love the cuts, man. You
Right
just
on, man.
you go to work. You go to work on that shit, man.
Right on,
and
bro.
I seen the visual.
It's a feel good record. Oh yeah, right on, man. It was a amalgamation of cult film classics, black exploitation. A lot of people, especially my record company, my distribution. It's a lot of copyrighted material, but I just felt like, in the lieu of trying to wait and do this video and collab schedules, because man, I just thought, man, you know what? I gotta get this out there, man, because this is that boom bap, that braggadocio, that chest pumped out, like I am the best, you're weak, I'm the best, and that's that, where hip hop comes from a not an innocent place, but like kind of place like, yo, I'm here to do something, I'm here to show you out. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And if you don't feel the same way I do, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. There you
know
go.
what I'm saying?
There
So
you go.
I'm here. This is what I'm doing, and each verse is a take on that sentiment and built around that hook, man. So it's gonna be more in store. That Zip Zero is gonna have a long life, because I see a remix. I see, what I'm saying, and we do this little dance every night, what I'm saying, when we perform in the joint. So that's gonna come to light, and you're gonna be seeing some more from Zip Zero, maybe a remix and an official video.
Hey, so that's what I was gonna say. I was like, this must be a placeholder for your actual video that's gonna be coming out. I enjoyed the clips, the clips together and stuff like that, man. It was it was a callback to some cool shit that I liked from back in the day. So that was dope. As far as on the EP itself, man, the tracks that I'm really feeling, man, is "Don't Leave" with Vocab and the Crypto, "Highway,"
Right on.
"Peeking," with "Peeking," with Paris on it. And again, man, it's just like I said before, just the cut game. You just have that. You just had that element. I wait for that. Like I go through and I'm an MC, so it's like I go through and I listen for bars or whatnot, but I really want to hear what them cuts is gonna be like and how you gonna stitch that. And you do such a phenomenal job on it, man. It's so dope.
I really appreciate it, man. I really think that's it's almost like, to me, it's percussion. You know what I'm saying? Because you have the drums, you have the texture, but that percussion go on top and in those pockets that the drums don't necessarily, get into, because drums is everywhere. You know what I'm saying? But when you could get into them pockets in the drums and the bass, man, I love living in those spaces, you know what I'm saying, in the music. You know,
Yeah.
and I wait for them myself when I hear joints and a certain, you know, we call it boom bap, but it's that feeling. Be like, oh man, this is some cuts right here, and then when they come in and they saying something, and they, you know what I'm saying, in that pocket, man, is nothing like it, bro.
Yo, if the drum work ain't there, and that bass ain't there, and them cuts ain't there, it ain't real. It ain't there. It ain't there. You need all of them. You need all of them elements. You know, and the MC will get off if that shit is that shit is right. If it's all right, the MC will get off on there. You create that energy for them, they'll get off.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So before we get out of here, I do have one question. I'm asking everybody this because I really think it's an interesting question in regards to the pandemic. You know, we're emerging out of it. How was you able to transition as a DJ when you couldn't go outside? Were you doing live sets like some of the other DJs, like, you know, D Nice and them was doing, and Ninth was doing, and stuff like that?
No, I didn't go that lane. I went in the lane. I started doing a podcast.
Okay.
Believe it or not. And it's just this concept that I had. I had a podcast called Old Man Rants. And so it was something, it wasn't super long, but it really occupied my time when I couldn't, you know, be out doing shows, DJing parties, you know, doing radio or anything like that. So really, even before I got the studio space that I'm currently in, I was doing the Old Man Rants in my bedroom, you know, just tucked off upstairs, you know, in the corner. Excuse me. And doing my show. And the premise behind Old Man Rants was like, you know, I'm of a certain age, you know what I'm saying? So I see things, I see hip hop, I see music, I see you know, pop culture from a certain standpoint. And you know what I'm saying, at this age, I'm good with that.
Right.
Because, you know, the people call me, you know, old head, you know what I'm saying? So these are my Old Man Rants, that my outlook on things. And that was the premise behind my podcast. And ironically enough, I was really doing it for me, you know, but I found out later that people were actually listening to my stuff. And just last week we were in Kansas City, Missouri. The person that brought us out is my boy PL, right? And I met him in 2020 when he was on the Midwest leg of the Slap Frost Review. Now he was doing merch and backing up and basically making things happen for another artist, James Noir, and he was out on tour with us. We had a great time. We really bonded, and in turn, when we came home, I was doing Old Man Rants, and my boy PL, I didn't notice at the time, was him and his friend were actively listening to my podcast, and they based their current podcast off of mine.
Nice.
And I just found this out because, you know, they brought us out, and they were, and I had no idea, and I was like, wow. And he was like, yeah, so we have meetings. We have meetings about our podcast and about our show and the direction, and we listen to your old, you know, your episodes. And I was floored.
That's dope.
I was floored. So shout out to PL at the Lawnarchy. You know what I'm saying? Look up them cats, the Lawnarchy.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. I'm a podcast head, man. I got a podcast too. And then, you know, just tell me about the freedom of doing a podcast when you could just say the shit that you want to say, though. I mean, it is just...
man. So great. No interruptions, nothing. You just say what's on your mind. I was playing music, and then I got into playing videos, it until, and then when I got my studio, I was still doing it in my studio, but then I started getting clients and stuff. So man, it was great, just that outlet and just speaking your mind, playing what you want to play, saying what you want to say, and like really, I was doing it for myself as an outlet, but I just found out that people were actually listening, which was great, you know. And I had some feedback, and then the music, my music choice. So maybe it's something I'll pick back up. But that was like a moment in time.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. Okay, last but not least, then I respect it if it's private. But what are some of like the bucket list items or goals that you have music wise, in the not so distant future?
Number one is just getting back to it. Like I'm always about the live show. So I tour extensively because it's just this great feeling I get from the stage and rocking live and honing my craft still. I'm learning stuff. I'm on tour with an incredible DJ now. His name is DJ DS, and he's backing up a good friend of mine, Romel with 2 L's. They're out of Louisville, Kentucky. So yeah, just working with a great DJ. But I would say one of the bucket list things that I have is for me in my immediate circle. I'm talking about me, Equipto, Z-Man, Vocab, Slick, shout out to AG, MC Pause. I want, before it's said and done, I want us all to be on one of those ones, like one of those tours that's just like, because we've all been on them, back in the days or here and there separately, and some of us together, some of us not. As an agent, I put hieroglyphics on the road. I put Zion I on the road. Planet Asia, Razkaz, copyright. Who. But I want us to get on one, maybe, and I'm talking about bucket list shit like being on tour with De La Soul, or what I'm saying, somebody that that brings something incredible to the table. We've all been on those tours that are just incredible every night. Like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame type stuff. So before we get up out of here and we put it down or what have you, that's a bucket list for me to get on. We call them one of them ones.
Yeah, man. So one more thing before we get out. With you doing the extensive touring and the moving around that you're doing, how are you balancing your family with with the touring and all that stuff?
Man, COVID really sat me down, and like kind of I was able to realize, the balance, or maybe imbalance per se, of going so hard. So COVID was really like a reset, sit down, and now coming out of COVID, this is my second tour since the doors have been open. But the difference between then and now, and spending time with my family, and and really cherishing that, and me being of a certain age, we go out for like 2 weeks at a time. I'm not gone like a month and a half, what I'm saying, and then going for another month and bouncing out. That's not what we're doing right now. What I'm saying? So I can be at home and enjoy, the children, the grandchildren, because I am a grandfather,
Okay.
and enjoy, and twice over. And so, and enjoy that type of thing. So that it kind of made, I don't wish sickness on anyone, but that, COVID kind of put things into perspective about spending time with your loved ones and trying to, be the best you that you can for as long as you can. So that's why, like I said, the tours are shorter, more precise. We plan on going back and out in November for the 7th annual Slap Frost Tour West Coast. What I'm saying?
Okay.
We're in the Midwest because COVID kind of wiped out our hard work that we did. You know what I'm saying? In 2020, Slap Frost went on its first nationwide tour, you know, as an independent tour, being a regional tour for 5 years prior.
That's
you
big.
know, the brainchild of, you know, 3 homies, you know, sitting in the garage and creating something, you know, that they can call their own, a brand. And, you know, 6 years later, you know, it's nationwide, you know. So, and then, you know, COVID happened, reset button, here we are. You know, the relationships that we made in the Midwest, we said, hey, we're gonna, regardless, the next time we come out, we're gonna hit the Midwest, you know. And it's like, we're all new artists, you know. I'm not gonna front and be like, oh, it's been crazy, you know what I'm saying? It's been crazy people every night. It hasn't, but it's been quality because we're introducing ourselves, number one, and maybe reintroducing ourselves to others. Right. But just letting people know we're out here, we're doing what it takes to push these records, you know what I'm saying, to push this brand, you know what I'm saying, and to push this love, you know, in the form of music. So if we doing it, we gonna continue to do it, and we're gonna do it right.
And that's the one thing that I got from Vocab and I got from you. For one is that you both bust your ass doing this, and there's love that has to go in with it. You know, when you showing up and you on stage, and it doesn't matter whether they're 5 or whether they're 5,000, you still got to give them the show. And I know that you gentlemen put in the time to be able to do that. I can't wait till you guys come out here on the West Coast leg. I love to be there for that, man.
It's happening. It's happening, man. And you're gonna be there. You're gonna be one of the first. And honestly, after this, man, you're gonna have a hand in it too. I wouldn't have it any other way. We're gonna make it happen with Nytelife for sure.
Oh, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. All right, brother. I'm gonna let you get back to it, man. It's been an honor and a privilege speaking to you, and I look forward to that. Look forward to you doing a lot more, man. Hopefully you got some other stuff in the tuck, man, you know, after that Coach EP, because that Coach EP is a killer, man. So
right on.
Keep rolling and keep doing them cuts, man. I need to hit you about some cuts, man. I need some of that. I need some of that from me.
Come on, man. My turnaround is impeccable.
I believe it. I believe it. You a pro. Of course the turnaround is gonna be great, man.
Yeah, so let's get it in.
All right, brothers. So we're going to go ahead and get up out of there. Difficult roads often lead to the most beautiful destinations. Shoot your shot, go for the win. You might make it. Peace.
Peace.
Limp when I walk with my shoulders shrugged. That's how it is when you're fresh out of fucks. Limp when I walk with my shoulders shrugged. That's how it is when you're fresh out of fucks.
6 0, 6 0, 6 0, 6 0.
Zip zero, not an unzilch. Fuck out my face before you get your cap peeled. Mike, metal, get your blood spilled. Y'all ain't on my level, let's you walk around on stilts. Strong arm steady, you can tell by how it's built. Ego overgrown, must be all the damn milk, I'm on tilt. And I ain't trying to level out. Going for broke till I find me a better route. Handing out heat like they're letting the devil out. Been about dollars since I raided my mama couch. I'm sickle cell sick, dope as a brick of white. The nickel 9 flicker bright, blinding your line of sight. I'm on flight, yeah, fly as I ever been. Might tap your bitch like the feds was listening. The vision is that Western Conference, home of the most dominant, prominent prospects. Monstrous flex, got a foot in your necks. And with all disrespect, could give a fuck less. Limp when I walk with my shoulders shrugged. That's how it is when you're fresh out of fucks. Limp when I walk with my shoulders shrugged. That's how it is when you're fresh out of fucks.
6 0, 6 0, 6 0, 6 0.
Zip zero, not an unzilch. Fuck out my face before you get your cap peeled.
We giving out ass whippings, which one do you want it? For all that frontin', you get slapped up in front of your gunner. Any one of you run up, you're done. I got a lot of hoes, I don't give a fuck, I'm fresh out of those. We not concerned with that bullshit, none of your gimmicks. I'm in the game, having fun like we running the scrimmage. Pimpin' what's up, we living it up. Chastity belt, actually not giving a fuck. Accurate archer, bow and arrow drive by on horseback and come back with your daughter. In all fairness, you should learn to care less without being careless. Cause I couldn't care less if they're fresh. The peer pressure just don't affect the bare best. Peerless, fearless, appear with the weirdest lyrics. And just don't give a fuck if you hear it.
Live when I walk with my shoulders shrugged. That's how it is when you're fresh out of fucks. Live when I walk with my shoulders shrugged. That's how it is when you're fresh out of fucks.
Here it is. 6 0, zip 0,
What it do?
6 0, zip 0.
Zip 0, not an unzil. Fuck out my face when you get your cap peeled.
Oh, I rap like I ain't got a care in the world. And you act like you and I ain't sharing your girl. You know your bitch, my freak side piece, my partner. I treat her like a pinata, you flipping like Jim Carter. I been trying to borrow a fuck so it can help me write. But my pen is lit like it's filled with kryptonite. Sodomite, kill him on sight. You step infections, better accept the death, which ain't no half stepping like Kanye. When he had his fingers up in Madonna's pussy, Naomi Campbell and I was just watching. You was getting sucked and fucked by Bambaataa. I was drinking Goldschlager, the whole bottle, giving a fuck. Nada, what you got a problem with me? Still in the show while your soul is on auction. Oh, you ain't popping like it used to be, confusing me, but giving a fuck is not an option.